Hi, this is Sean Best from Tallahassee, Florida. This lesson is for week 5 of the Introduction to Music Production class at Coursera.org. For this assignment, I will demonstrate an effective use of mirror EQ in a mixing context. So what is mirror EQ? It's the process of using EQ to remove competing frequencies from supporting instruments in the mix. We want each instrument's most important features to cut through in the mix, and we need to make room in the frequency spectrum to ensure that the other instruments are not masking these key features. So this is an original recording that I created. All the tracks are recorded directly. I'm using the Presonus Amplifier plugin for all the amp sounds and Toontrack's EZDrummer for the drum sounds. Let's take a quick listen to the song without any EQ, and then we'll go through and we'll try to find some competing frequencies. Okay, so let's start with the drums and the bass. These are two things that we need to make sure they stand out. I'm going to pull up the EQ on the drums. Now if I play just the drum track, if I solo it, I can look at which frequencies are coming through in the spectrum. So I can see that kick drum coming up, and I've already determined it's centered somewhere around 78 Hertz. So what I'm doing there is I'm going to go ahead and boost it just a little bit in the mix. And then I'm cutting some out at 200. There's some boxy sound there at 200, which I want to get rid of. If I boost it, you can hear that boxy sound. I don't want that, so I'm going to pull that out a little bit. Okay. And then around 1K, I'm just pulling a little bit out there that helps the snare. Just kind of shapes the snare sound a little bit. It's also going to create a little bit extra space for the guitars later. All right, let's take a look at the bass drum, or the bass guitar, that is. Enable the EQ so I can see the spectrum. So I can see a lot of the energy is in the low area, a lot between 50 and 100 Hertz. Remember, I got that kick drum I got to worry about, and I already know that I'm boosting at 78. That seems to be a good center frequency for the kick drum. So I'm going to pull that down in the bass guitar itself. And there's also some frequency around 195 that I'm pulling out, again, just to sculpt the sound a little bit more. And then, again, for the guitars, around 1K, I'm pulling out a pretty healthy cut, about 6.5 decibels, and that's going to make more room for the guitar. So let's listen to the bass before and after EQ. So no EQ. And then EQ. So it's a little bassier, it's a little rounder, taking out those high frequencies as well as the mid frequencies I need for the guitar. Alright, let's move over to the guitars real quick. I'm going to play both the guitars without the EQ so you can hear them. I've got one pan hard left and one pan hard right. So I'll start with one just in the left, and we'll take a look in this frequency spectrum. Enable the EQ. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm actually rolling off all the energy that I don't need on the low end, and that's going to make room for that kick drum and as well as the bass guitar. Keep it nice and clean, you know, remove some of the mud out of the guitar. And on the high end too, there's not a lot of energy there, so I'm rolling that off. And then what I did is I found two frequencies that I liked in the guitar that I felt like I could work with. And on the left channel, I'm going to be cutting about 3.5 decibels at 500 Hertz, and then I'm going to boost about 5.5 decibels at 1.1K. And then on the right guitar, I'm going to do the exact opposite. And so this will have the effect of, I'm going to boost about 4.5 on 500 and cut about 5.76 at 1.1K. And that's going to help make that distinguishment between the left and right ears a little bit wider. It's going to give you more distinction between those guitars and make the stereo spread seem a little wider. So without EQ, and then I'm going to kick the EQ in. Now it's subtle, but if you're listening carefully, it makes a big difference. It actually is pushing them out, and it's making them cut through a little bit better. So let's go ahead and listen to the whole song without EQ real quick. Without EQ. So as you can see, it's much easier to hear everything. Nothing's fighting. And that's an effective use of mirror EQ. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.